Welcome in, ladies. Welcome to Elevate Her Space. I am so happy that you clicked on this video because today I have a very juicy topic about energetic boundaries, and I want to unpack what has come up for me recently on this topic. And I would love for you to write in the comments what comes up for you as we unpack energetic boundaries. So what energetic boundaries specifically mean to me is being able to embody the character and embody the way that you want to be treated towards others. And when we hear about boundaries, a lot of the time when we hear it in the space of social media or YouTube, I think that this is a topic that has been shoved down our throat recently. To me, it just feels like restrictive energy. And a lot of the times I think that comes from pointing our finger towards other people and as to why and how other people are crossing those boundaries with us. But I want to bring on a different approach, a different perspective on this topic, and encourage you ladies to look within yourself when we talk about boundaries, when we talk about how we want to be treated and how we treat others, right? So most of the time when we are encountering a situation where we feel like someone has made us feel uncomfortable and there's a boundary that needs to be set, most of the time, I would like to say most of the time, especially when it comes to people that we encounter daily, like our loved ones, the reasons why people cross boundaries with you is because you have not placed them within yourself. Let's just get straight to the point. That is the reason why people are able to cross those boundaries. I was just talking to my girls during the Elevate Her Space Circle meeting, and the topic came up about how there are people that will try to do you wrong, right? Intentionally. We're not going to talk about those people because this is a space where I believe that most women are not interacting with people that intentionally want to hurt them, right? We are not interacting with those kind of people on the daily. We have that much self-respect where we don't care to even spend an ounce of our energy towards that. So when I talk about energetic boundaries, and what I really want to talk about today is setting energetic boundaries within the people that we love and the people that we interact daily. And so when I came up with this topic, came to me within a situation that was held by a loved one, right? The situation came up with a loved one where I felt like there was a boundary that was being tested and I felt uncomfortable by it. And I had to look in with myself, and ask myself, have I allowed this to happen? And most of the time, when we feel like a boundary is being crossed, we have allowed it to happen. Because first and foremost, we've allowed it within ourselves. If you think about, if you are truly embodying the way you want to be treated within yourself, 95% of the population will obey and abide by that. So if for some reason there's somebody who is crossing that boundary, more than likely you've crossed that boundary within yourself, or you've crossed that boundary with that person. The cure to energetic boundaries is you. Sometimes when we think about boundaries, we think about the people and the energy we want to stay away from, or what we don't want to allow from other people. But most of the time, if people are crossing our boundaries, it's because we have crossed that boundary within ourselves to begin with. The first step to allowing energetic boundaries within our life is the embodiment of that boundary. It takes truly embodying your boundaries within yourself first before any outside entity gets to participate in it and understand it. It takes truly embodying your boundaries within yourself first before any outside entity participating and understanding it. Every time I have felt like someone has crossed a boundary with me, I was forced to look within myself and ask myself, have I set this boundary within myself yet? Have I crossed this boundary with other people? Those are two questions we have to ask ourselves when we feel like someone has crossed a boundary or made us feel uncomfortable. Have I made this person feel uncomfortable? Have I crossed this boundary within myself? And that's why people feel comfortable crossing that boundary to begin with. And I had encountered a situation within myself where I had to ask myself that. And then the way I wanted to handle it, the way I wanted to go about this situation was I didn't want to use my words. So use your words less. Show what you tell them, right? Show more than what you can tell them about your boundaries. Boundaries are not meant to be said. Usually we don't have to tell people our boundaries, we show them. Think about it. The point in a boundary is an act of self-love, right? So the moment we decide to put up a boundary is an act of self-love. If we spend time and energy telling someone about our boundary, that's another leak of energy. We've already leaked our energy by feeling uncomfortable at that moment with that boundary being crossed. Why would we continuously leak our energy and express ourselves at that very moment? Take some time to look within and, like I said, ask yourself, have you been clear about this boundary within yourself? Have you made this person feel uncomfortable within this specific idea? And you can really take the moment to look within yourself and figure out how you want to execute this boundary. And then at the very end, if it's required that you tell that person, hey, you've crossed this boundary and I'm not comfortable with it, and here's why, you are able to go about it in a respectful way. And you're able to set the floor and set the environment for that person to be able to express themselves as well. You never want to point your finger at someone when you're trying to set a boundary, because in a way they can also feel like guilty, right? And the last thing you want to do is make a loved one feel guilty, and then it makes them feel in a way distant. If we want to act out of love and we want to create loving and safe environments, the best thing we could do is not point the finger at them, right? Point the finger at yourself. Figure out why this is triggering for you. Figure out how you can go about it not happening again. Embody that, and then speak your truth. There's a lot of work that we have to do before we speak out about something. It should require some inner thoughts, some inner work before we go ahead and speak out. Because sometimes, like I said, it can get really disrespectful if we talk out of emotion at that very moment, right? Sometimes we are not setting the floor for it to be a progressive conversation for us to get to the end point. And if we are really considerate of that end point and that point where we want to be, then we would know to take some time to look within ourselves and talk to ourselves before going ahead and making it known that this is a boundary. And like I said, if we need to even do that, because most of the time, if we're embodied in our boundary, then we don't have to say a word. Most of the time, we don't have to say anything. And that brings me to my next point, clarity. Becoming clear of what that boundary is. Sometimes people cross our boundaries because we were not exactly sure of our boundary to begin with. So take some time to really get clear as to what that boundary is and then embody it. Most of the time, people cross that boundary because we weren't clear with ourselves to begin with. Take a moment to be clear with yourself. Don't put out any energy, but use that energy to zoom in on exactly what you need and what you want. We aren't having enough quiet moments with ourselves anymore. Use this moment to unplug and let God speak to you. Boundaries shouldn't feel very heavy and restrictive. Embody the gold in your boundaries. There's gold behind boundaries. And that's why I want to call it energetic boundaries, because it's just energy. It should be a flow, just like everything else in life that we bring up in this channel. Everything should move at flow, just like boundaries, right? So energetic boundaries always allows freedom. We're able to create safe spaces once we're able to set those boundaries respectfully. Think about it. As we continue to think about what it would feel like to feel the ultimate free and loving being that we want to be, it means we don't have to worry about getting into situations that don't suit us anymore. Because we know we can completely trust ourselves to get out of it, and the opposite force won't be able to get in. So the idea of boundaries is not to encourage you to walk on eggshells and to think about when is the next time someone is going to test us or cross that boundary. It's really about understanding yourself and allowing yourself to live. Knowing we have the amount of confidence to walk with God and be able to navigate every situation with God, we're ultimately free. We don't have to worry about anything else at that point. Don't be scared of boundaries. Allow boundaries to feel free and free flowing. Allow boundaries to set free will. If we have the right boundaries in place, this allows us to be able to think freely, love freely, and allow other people in and feel the same way as well. And that is all, ladies. That is what I have for you this week. I pray that this resonates with you. And I encourage you, ladies, to be as free and loving and as crazy, as weird as you want to be. And that is what this space holds. And I pray that you can carry it out of this screen. I love you. Bye-bye.